Hello, it's Andrew Trotter here at Beverly Farming and Trevor Whittington from WA Farmers. We were fortunate enough to have Trevor drop in and visit the farm yesterday on his route to Canberra. I've been closely associated with WA Farmers over the years because the RLF AgTech program is based out of Western Australia, and Trevor's also heavily involved with the Liberal Party, so I've had a bit to do with him over the past decade. So Trev, just a question for you. You've been over here, was it 3 seasons in a row now?
Sort of every year we've got, works it well with our National Farmers Federation forum at this time of the year, but probably of more value to me has come over to your place, kick the dirt. You know, we go back over a decade. I think you've been working and trialling RLF foliar nutrient sprays. Plus, you know, we've had a long and extensive conversations over carbon farming, where that's going to go. I've been the big cynic, you've been the big promoter. I've been the skeptic, and I come to see, you know, if the walk and the talk actually ends up in the yields and the profits.
So as you know, Trev, like, we're doing a multitude of things on the farm, from the 15-inch row spacings, which nobody's doing in WA. We've gone down this registration of a carbon program to really experiment where that can go. We've got lentils in our rotation, which you guys don't have the ability to grow because of your acidic soils. So when you came out yesterday, it's quite a foreign farming system compared to what you're used to. What were the real highlights that you saw yesterday?
Oh, the big negative to start with was 150 kilometres of decile 1 crops, and this is a thumping drought. This is a serious wipeout for a lot of growers. People are going to smoke a lot of money this year, so that's pretty depressing for them. And then we arrived at your place, and now I come from an area which average yields of 2.5 tonnes for wheat. You might grow lupins as your you want to put a bit of nitrogen in the ground, and 1.5 tonnes, and we're good average year. You can get up to 3, and we were walking through your crops, or climbing through them, and they were looking at 6-7 tonnes, and you will have less rainfall than we will have in our growing season. In fact, you've just come off 2 months of almost nothing at that critical time. So whatever you're doing, and you're doing something very different, because that's why I come back every year, you're absolutely out-competing your neighbours, and that's what I'm interested to learn about.
And obviously, Trevor, one of the things that we comment about is there's been a work in progress with RLF AgTech. They've got some proprietary technology that I bought into basically a decade ago, and we sort of had to configure it to the eastern seaboard, and we've taken their program a lot further than what it was sort of traditionally put into the marketplace. And you know, at the root of it, as I explained to you yesterday, we've sort of been drip feeding both phosphorus, zinc, copper, and a multitude of other nutrients through the growing season. And our aim particularly was to get a good crop stand, and then actually have that crop stand hold on through a depleted moisture situation from rainfall, basically relying on our subsoil. So could you comment on the green leaf area and the density of our crops compared to what was through the fence?
Yeah, look, through the fence, it's foot-high crops. It's all over. They're browned out, or desperately trying to hang on. I think you got an inch about a week ago, but it was too late. That 2 months of dry up until then, they'd shut down. They just didn't have, obviously, the root structure. And your crops are interesting because you've picked up a new farm in the last 12 months. So you don't have 10 years of soil carbon addressing all your nutrient imbalances. So you are obviously having to foliar feed those crops. And they were right up there. In fact, the most staggering one was the one you didn't even put any urea on, nitrogen. So it was relying on what it could extract out of the soil, plus what you were feeding it through with your foliar sprays. And it's almost unbelievable, but the numbers are there in terms of rainfall, so we know that, and it wasn't just one neighbour's paddock. I think we went through probably 20 paddocks, and it was incredibly consistent. So it's not as if you've got the world's newest gear. You rebooted a farm, so you must be doing something fundamentally different. And being an agro yourself, the proof's in the pudding. So it's whatever you've been adding to those plants.
Well, and look, I suppose why we're doing this video is we want to try share this information with as many farmers as possible, because agronomy's come a long way since 1990 when I came out of university. So it's taken me 20 odd years to work this system out, and it's only some advancements that we've brought in the last 2 years that we've really seen it stick. There was little advances that we could see, incremental, but there's no other way of describing that. It's a seismic difference this year. Like the green leaf retention is something else, isn't it, really?
Yeah, obviously without being able to keep those plants going through that long dry period, they weren't ready there to capitalise on the last bit of rain you had. And so there must have been something that those plants had got that had given them enough root structure to be able to hang on and do whatever they need to do. So the interesting thing for me, you can do all the trial data. People can show you the trials and the small plot and the glasshouse stuff, and there's always a snake oil merchant out there flogging some new formula, some new chemical, some new fertilizer, some new compound mix. But until you see it spread across, what do you got, 1,600 hectares, multiple different crops, different planting days, planting quite late for us, I would have thought, and a very difficult year, then you'd have to see it to believe it. And I'm a skeptic. I've seen and heard every political promise, every agronomy promise, and trying to run a farm ourselves, looking around for the best farmers are doing the best thing. If I was one of your neighbours, I'd be taking a deep, hard look at what you're doing and what's different to what they're doing.
Well, when it all comes down to it, that's what Wednesday's about. We want everybody to come and have a look for themselves, and if you're interested, you can learn more about the program and something you can implement onto your own farm. And that's what this is about.
It's interesting, and it's not huge dollars. It's not a massive change. It's feeding the plant a bit different. And I've got a background in horticulture. We used to pour a lot of foliar nutrients on. It's just funny it hasn't been picked up by the broadacre world, and no doubt it's been tried before, but and you've spent 10 years trying to doing it's not field trials, it's doing whole farm trials,
evaluation,
and that's the difference. It's a whole farm trial, year in, year out. My third year back here, looking at what you're doing, I think you've been at least 20% in front of your neighbours every year. This year it is, they're looking at 1 and 2 tonne crops, you're looking at 6 and 7 tonne crops, so that's extraordinary difference.
But anyway, we'll leave it at that, Trevor. Thanks for calling in on your way to Canberra, and we'll surely get back to you with the yields once we put the header into it.
And I'll be back next year.
Thanks, guys. Bye.
Thanks.